And we're live.
Welcome to the Big Hammock Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Shearer, along with the co-host, Travis Cecil. We are producers of the Big Hammock movie.
Yes.
You can purchase it at thebighammock.com. That's one word, thebighammock.com. Of course, we've got our director in the background over there operating our soundboard, giving us those cheers. Listeners, tonight we are excited about our guest because it's really tying, in a way, a part of everything we've been trying to do with this podcast. We started this podcast promoting the premiere of our movie. Our first episode started out really, really well with the backstory of the movie, how it all come together, the foundation of everything. It started from, with the vision, the writing, the role selection, to actually filming, to editing. And basically, we learned from the feedback of the listeners that, people really enjoy getting to know the process of movie making and everything behind it. They found it interesting. And fast forward, this podcast has turned into a weekly episodic show that we've really had a lot of fun with, with guests ranging from, cast members to, fans of the shows, business owners and trips and events, and y'all know the deal. And with that being said, we've made no moans about it. We're doing this to promote the selling of our movie. We want people to purchase our movie. It's well done, comedy, thriller, Bigfoot movie. Along with that, our business format, again, to promote our movie is through this podcast. It's our vision that if we get enough subscribers through all of our platforms, the algorithms will kick in along with our podcast. If we can get enough people to tune into our podcast, it is our hope that the word will get out and people will purchase our movie. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Like, share, comment, whatever platform you're listening to. If you've already done so, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate the love. Huge, huge favor we're asking anybody. Whatever platform you're listening to, whether it's Apple, Amazon, Spotify, iHeart, just about everyone has the YouTube app. It's on their phones.
Oh, yeah.
Do us a huge favor. Be sure to go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Yeah. We need you. We need you, listeners.
There's 96.7% that ain't hitting that button.
So, gentlemen, we are excited for tonight's episode.
Oh, yeah. Been looking forward to this past 2 weeks.
We had a fellow independent filmmaker reach out to us, and they want to come on the show and talk about their film.
Oh, yeah.
Our guest today is Andrew Koltuniuk, and he is the writer, director of the independent film Letting Go of Jack.
Wow, this is exciting stuff.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
So, listeners, Travis, Malcolm, and I, we had the pleasure of watching this movie, and we're going to talk about it with Andrew. We're going to take a quick break. While the break is going on, we're going to be playing the trailer to Letting Go of Jack. And when we come back, we're going to have the director, Andrew, on the phone to tell us more about the film. So, here you go.
Hit it, Malcolm.
So it can't go over 45 miles an hour? Fascinating.
So, where are you headed?
Colorado,
What part?
the Rocky Mountains.
Where does your journey lie?
What's it matter?
This is all I got.
Same. The car has problems too.
A few.
And here I thought you just drove like a grandmother.
Thanks.
Hang on to your bridges, we're blowing in the breeze.
I've never been so tempted to kick someone out of a car before.
Let's not cling to the trees.
I think hitchhikers can really be useful in getting someone out of a serious bind.
A serious bind that the traveler was easily able to get out.
Ooh, definitely. Not having enough cash to pay for gas is a serious bind you could have gotten yourself out of.
Should I leave?
Where could I go for better view? Where could I hold on to knowing it all fades?
Well, we've got this far, Jack.
It all fades for you.
All right, huge welcome to the director, Letting Go of Jack, Andrew Koltuniuk. Thank you for coming on the show, Andrew.
Thanks for having me.
First things first, Andrew, where can our listeners purchase your film?
Absolutely. You can purchase the film Letting Go of Jack on Amazon Prime Video, and the film is available for rental or for purchase right now in 11 different countries.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is
Yes.
very cool. And I want to tell you, Andrew, and the listeners for that matter, that I enjoyed the movie. And I can't keep my mouth shut, so I'm sure I'm going to share the specifics of what I enjoyed about the movie along the way. But this interview is an interview with you for our listeners to get to know you and the movie. Can you tell us what Letting Go of Jack is about?
Absolutely. So Letting Go of Jack is a coming-of-age road trip movie following a young man, Brandon, who is trying to escape California to Colorado in his beat-up Ford Bronco. And along the way, he encounters hitchhikers and breakdowns and all sorts of other little messes and haphazards on his journey.
Yeah. And how did you come up with the idea of the film?
Yeah, so it was back in 2020 during the pandemic. I was doing a mini artist retreat, and as I was writing, these characters started kind of dancing across my pages, and I decided to explore these characters a little further. That was Brandon and the hitchhiker Amber. And over the course of the next couple of months, I started to just dig into their stories and figure out what these characters were trying to tell me. And later in the year, in 2020, I ended up writing the first draft of the script and then spent about 2 years doing edits to it to try and really finesse it and perfect it a little.
Oh, wow.
And we know the feeling, and the reason why I say we know the feeling is because it took us 2 hours or 2 years as well to get our film done. And I want to tell you, take this opportunity to tell you, Andrew, how well of a job you put together really getting to know your characters in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I knew, Brandon and I forget the hitchhiker's name. What was her name?
Amber,
that's right. And the third gentleman that popped on the scene. I felt like I knew each of them. Like I knew where they come from, how their childhoods went. You were able to pull out an emotional draw to each of those characters, and that is not easy to do. That takes talent, and I have to ask you, through the 2 years of that, did you have to make any adjustments along the way? I'm sure you did. Was there any major adjustment that you had to do that you kind of had in your mind when you were writing this thing, and then kind of had to pivot along the way when you started doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. There were a couple things. It was very different when I first wrote it to where it is now. But one of the biggest things, the notes that I got pretty consistently from some of my friends that I sent it to, was that there just was not enough bad things that were happening to Brandon and Amber as they were going on this road trip.
Mm-hmm.
And so I needed to come up with, a few more little hurdles that they needed to overcome. And honestly, that was really hard for me. I think the first draft of the movie was 72 pages long. So it was not very fleshed out. And it was really as a writer, it's so much easier to just cut back the fat of a movie you've written as opposed to trying to flesh out something that you already feel is coherent and cohesive. So that was honestly the hardest part for me, was really trying to build this story out further.
Mm-hmm.
And that honestly took some time.
And I can tell you, we can relate to that. We had to do some adjustments, where we had a script wrote, and we things were taken out of the script, and now you're running short on time. Should we really add? We had to deal with those same things. So, when you sit here and you tell these stories, we're bobbing our head, and we're like, "Yep,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely, we've been there." So I along with that question, we've talked about our history of how we got into the film industry, and I think that's a perfect segue. How did you get into the film industry to come to know how to even do all this stuff?
Yeah. Back when I was in high school, I was in Boy Scouts, and my scout troop would go to summer camp every year. And one year I decided to go and try the cinematography merit badge. And it was a great experience, a lot of fun. We were watching movies on this absolutely terrible projector in this tent. We were watching The Dark Knight, and it was green.
Oh, wow.
But that was the first time I saw The Dark Knight, and they were talking to us, and they were like, "Oh, you can make money doing this," and I was like, maybe that's what I want to do. So, obviously, my parents were a little skeptical when I came back from scout camp and told them that I think I want to go make movies.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, they were very supportive. They encouraged me to try going to. I went to a community college for 3 years and pursued an arts degree there, but got all of my basics, and they were like, take every film class you can so that you can figure out if this is something you really want to do and really want to pursue for the rest of your life. And after 3 years, I was like, I need to go either New York, Chicago, or LA to go pursue this further. And I looked at a couple different film schools in California, selected one that I just really vibed with the program and the people who were there, and ended up going there for 3 years, graduated in 2020, and
Nice.
then myself and some of my fellow alumni and friends came together to form the Guild, and we decided to start with Letting Go of Jack as our first movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I want to take this opportunity, if you don't mind. Could you tell the listeners about the Guild?
Absolutely. So the Guild was formed by 5 of us, alumni, various screenwriters, cinematographers, directors, and our buddy Connor, who is strictly business and doesn't do the art thing, but he crunches the numbers for us. And
I got one of those
Our
too.
goal is, heck yeah, they're important. You got to have someone to crunch the numbers for you, otherwise you are totally screwed.
Yes.
But the 5 of us came together. We love movies. We love telling stories. And so our goal is we want to be the start of this wave of small independent productions that take over the world. And you can tell a good story without having to make a movie for $50, $100, $200 million. You can tell a good story on a small budget that will impact people and that will move people. And we've been working on that for a couple of years, and I think we're in a good place right now.
Yeah, I think that Letting Go of Jack definitely speaks for what the vision of that all is. I found myself, rooting, for Brandon, the main character, where he was mad at her over that ring, and they end up in this bad argument, and you just want them to get to the other side of that argument and come together, and then ultimately, you felt good when they did. I think that you're definitely achieving that through that. And, I know that you have other future things in the works. I do want to get to that, but listeners, understand. Andrew's not done in the film industry. He's got
not by a long
projects in the
shot.
works. I think that on again, I asked what was the website with that we researched there, Andrew?
That's Spark and Seed. That's what
Spark
we're
and
talking
Seed.
about.
Sparkandseed.com. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Andrew, is this your first film?
This is my first feature-length film, yes.
gotcha.
I've done several shorts, several short films, about 10 short films before that, but this was the first full-length one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
No.
go ahead.
Now, so I do have to say, when I was in college, in community college, I bit off the largest possible bite I could chew, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make the next Academy Award-winning feature. And over the course of a summer, I had like $2,000 for a budget, and I utterly failed in making this film. I think I have a bunch of the footage from it somewhere, but it was this adventure film that needed way more time and energy than I was able to put into it. But it was a phenomenal learning experience, and I took a lot of what I learned there and applied it to the films that I've been doing since.
Nice.
So I do have some more questions for you in the making of Letting Go of Jack. How did you go about selecting your cast?
That is a great question. So we put our casting call out on Backstage, which is for the listeners who don't know, that is just a website that is basically a virtual audition room and casting website where actors can create profiles, directors and productions can create their a profile page for their film, and then put out a call where you say, we need a young male from the age of 20 to 30, and you'll get people who submit in. So we put out a casting call. The process was about a month and a half, and we got about 1,500 submissions for all 3 or 4 roles we had, including several of my friends, several alumni. For example, the guy in the gas station, Paul.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask about him.
We found Paul funny.
Dude, Paul's hilarious. Paul is an alumni from my school, and he was actually I had worked with him many times before, and he applied for the role, and I just found him so funny. He was perfect for the character. But it was a good month of just, going through several hundred profiles and being like, this person doesn't work for this reason, this person doesn't work for this reason, and narrowing it down to who do we want to have a call and talk with them in person, see what they want to bring to the role, how they see the character. And then from there, it was, once we selected our select group of people, which I think was 11 between Brandon and Amber, it was chemistry reads between the 2 characters and seeing who worked well together and who bounced off of each other well. And Larson just really blew us away with his capability. He just kind of was the character.
Yes.
And it was perfect for that. And then Megan, I've worked with Megan on 4 projects before Letting Go of Jack, and I was very, very careful not to be biased about working with someone I had already worked with before, but she brought this energy to Amber and was able to play a little bit of a bitch. I don't know. Is minor swearing okay on the show?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. She's able to play a little bit of a bitch but still somehow make the character likable, which was so necessary, because in the script, I wrote Amber, and she's a mean character, a mean bitch, and I'm saying that way too much now, but
No, you're fine.
I loved the argument that they got into.
Oh yeah, she was a little firecracker.
I mean, and I thought, what was Brandon's name? As the actor, what was his name?
Larson.
I thought Larson did such a good job because you never saw that much emotion out of Larson, and when they got in that argument, I could feel it. So
oh yeah, when he was in the front of or side of that truck and he
tent
dropped that tent down on the ground, I was like, yeah. Girl, you're gonna have to fix this up yourself, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's funny you were talking about the table reads and all that, and listen, we're going to be honest with you, Andrew. You are on a whole nother level than us. We were just some, we're just some poor old boys that putting together a movie, and we did do table reads and all that, which and I'm picturing in my head, if we had a casting call, I couldn't even imagine a casting call.
We did have a casting call.
Yeah.
I called everybody I needed to be on the cast. That's the kind of casting call we had. I called everybody I knew and said, "Hey, I'm calling because I need a cast, and you're it."
Yeah. As long as you don't look into the lens, we're good.
Andrew, he's legit. But as far as like your, preparing for the movie, how did you come up with your, what about your filming locations or your movie props or, what? Was the Bronco somebody's that you had laying around? Did you have to track one of those down? I know I just asked a lot there.
No, you're good. So I want to shout out really quick my producers, Rachel Workman and Connor McLaughlin, who are 2 members of the guild. The both of them each put in like 3,000 hours into the pre-production process.
Oh.
And to be completely honest, like the movie would not exist without them. Connor was like, we raised about $100,000 between crowdfunding and private investors to make the movie, and Connor was like meticulous about making sure every single thing was ready. He was, whenever we would find out if we had more or less money, he would rerun the numbers on our budget and send it to me. So between him and Rachel, like they put in so much time and effort getting everything ready to go so that I could spend time with the actors and creating like shot lists and stuff to prepare for the film. And in terms of locations, the film looks like it's a road trip movie, but I'm going to spoil it for people, and it's 90% of the film is shot in Yucca Valley. Yes, Yucca Valley and 27 Palms in California. We rented Airbnbs, and we were there for 2 weeks, filming, 5 days a week. A lot of the little abandoned areas are campsites, and we just rented the campsites for the night, so it'd be like $30-$40 for the day.
Man, I'm learning so much of what it's like when you get in the big leads, Malcolm.
Oh, yeah. No, it's smart. It's smart, bro. And the Airbnbs come in handy, man. We did that with a lot of our locations.
You're ruining it for my next movie. Now they're going to expect me to get Airbnbs, and you don't even say you got catering for them, because I don't do the catering part very well.
No, my mom catered the movie.
Awesome. Okay,
nice.
Sweet.
I'll take catering from your mom.
Now you're like, no, man. Look, we can't have home cooked meals for every single thing. You can't set that expectation now too. Please stop.
Yeah, man, you gotta eat, bro.
I didn't rent any locations.
yeah.
I just walked into a business, said, "Hey, I'm shooting a Bigfoot movie. Can I use your pizza shop as a diner?" Sure.
And like here's the thing, like in California, because of Hollywood, people just don't let you do that.
Right.
And so, people know how much money people are willing to rent a location for.
Right.
And so that's why filmmakers love filming in smaller states, or like states that have a smaller film industry, because people want you to film there. Right. They're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so exciting for you to film here. Just film here and it'll be fun to watch." Whereas you go to a place that knows film and they're like, "Yeah, no.
Right.
Give us that $1,000 a day because we want the money."
Right.
So
go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead and finish your thought because
No,
I'll keep going on
saying,
locations after you're done.
You get into that with the film locations and then spending all that money, and then you got to worry about pulling the permits and stuff like that. Did you guys run into that issue with different locations in your permits?
Oh, man. Yeah. So all of the driving sequences.
Yep.
The thing is when you have like certain rules and laws associated with driving while acting. So obviously the actors are not driving and acting at the same time because that's incredibly dangerous. So we had to have the car on a trailer, strapped down, and we're shooting that way. I'll just tell you how we did it. I've done it other ways before.
Oh, I've done it.
Smaller stuff.
I've been in that boat.
Andrew, you're not helping me right now, bro. Okay, you're not helping me.
But like we went through the whole process with the police department for the city of Yucca Valley and 27 Palms, and they were so nice. The difficulty was we had to find streets that were only city owned and were not controlled by the county or the state, because if we were going to go with county roads or state, we had to have California Highway Patrol, and that was like $300 a car per day.
Yep.
And we were like, that's not in the budget, man. That's not in the budget.
That's my famous words. It's not in the budget, Andrew. You just stick with that motto.
Yep. No, the producer, like, you got to have a good producer who's like, that is not in the budget, and we're not going over for that.
No, I've definitely been in your shoe with that before. In Orlando, Florida, we had to shut down some streets in Winter Garden. Now, we was able to get away with the permits. I had a couple police that were on set, and then they started charging up more. Well, if you need somebody to block this sidewalk, it's going to cost this, it's going to cost that. We ended up putting up a few signs, letting them know, hey, filming's on here, and there's a good chance you might be on camera. Because we just couldn't stop the people walking back and forth, man. I think they got some of the same problems like that in New York. If you're filming in that public area, it's like you can't get them people out of there. So,
yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, I've had issues like that before, where it's like, this person's just going to be in the movie, and we're just not going to show their face. We'll cut away to something else if we need to while they're walking away. But like, this has to happen now. So, for the sake of light or time or whatever you're dealing with.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, the two other quick things, if you don't mind, with locations.
Sure thing.
We did, like, our two big locations in terms of expense were the gas station, Amboy. That is the actual station at Amboy, and like, I had visited that with my parents several years before. That gas station is the inspiration, supposedly, for Radiator Springs in Cars, and a bunch of music videos have shot there. Yeah. So it's a pretty iconic location, and we really wanted to get it. And so we rented out that gas station for 6 hours for the day, and we knew it was going to be our most expensive location. And it was an hour drive in the morning. We set up all of our stuff, filmed for 6 hours, and then drove home at the end of the day. So that was really cool. They were so kind, and like,
and the
people there
nailed.
were phenomenal.
The scene was nailed. You know, that just I like the way that you followed through with your passion on that. You know what I mean? You were very passionate. Said we got to have this spot, and by all means, that scene is definitely a pivotal moment in the movie. However, it's not very much of the movie at all. But for you, it was like, it's got to be done. So I think that's pretty cool.
I can speak for him too. 6 hours is not a long time. One of the projects I had when I had Michael Winslow on there, it's like that's all we had was just 6 hours, and that's from the start when he got into the trailer to the last word he got to speak. I mean, it was a pay in and a pay out. So you have to make use of every moment, every minute of filming on that. So I'm pretty sure he felt that same situation.
Andrew, that's why you just walk up in a small town pizza shop. You say, "Look, I got $100. I need it for the day."
That actually happened, Andrew. We filmed our festival scene, and there was a Honky Tonk bar right next to where we were filming, like backed up to it. And it was 11 o'clock in the morning. We got everything set up, and literally minutes, probably seconds before we get ready to start filming, the bar owner opens the bar and turns their outside speakers on with loud honky tonk music. Like, we absolutely are like don't know. I seen the look on Malcolm, the director's face, and I was just like, and I went up to him and I said, "How much money's in your pocket?" and he looked at me and he's like, "What are you asking me?" I said, "Bro, I'm just saying you could probably go pay that bartender to turn that off right now." And that's exactly what he did. Was it $50 or $100?
No, I gave her $100. I walked in there. I said, "Listen, we're about to film, and it's like the biggest. It's not like the most important scene of the movie. It's not even." Depending on how you look at it, but it's the biggest with all the most moving parts.
Yeah,
it's a
extras.
It's a festival.
Yeah.
We got 75 extras there, and they're out here blaring. So I just walk in there. I'm like, "Look, I'll give you $100 if you can just shut that off for an hour." And she goes, "Okay." So I gave her $100, and hey, she shut it off for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I'd say I got lucky, but really I think she did it on purpose because they knew we was gonna be there and filming. They already had like an heads up, so it kind of. I think what made her mad is they had opened up this bar and nobody's going in there and buying anything. They're just wanting to use the bathroom. So I think that kind of made her. And I rented a porta potty. Hey, I kind of went legit, Andrew. I rented a porta potty. Nobody wanted to use it. You know what I mean? I even got a bunch of. That was the only scene I actually provided food. I got a bunch of chicken that we grilled out.
Yeah.
But secretly, I just needed it for the scene to look legit. But people still got to eat.
Especially when you got me on.
It was
set,
a bonus.
bro.
It was a bonus.
It was a bonus.
Bro,
man.
you
So-
dragged me on the set. We eating that day. We gonna make sure someone's getting fed, and it's gonna be me.
for sure.
Heck yeah.
So one more question for you, Andrew. We definitely go round and round with this as a common question amongst our guests that our cast that have been on the show. What was your most proud moment during production, and what was the most proud moment post premiere?
Okay. During production, I think I gotta say it was the sequence when the fight sequence when they like blow up on each other and Brandon's kicking the car. Because we set up that wide and shot that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna let this just sit on this for the movie because I absolutely love how this shot looks, and I wanted us as the audience to feel disconnected from them at that moment, and I wanted us to feel the distance before we got into it with them in the fight. But the sun was like setting, and we had about 10 minutes to get both angles of that fight, and so it was legitimately like huge props to Larson and Megan for just knowing their lines, knowing their characters, because like we did Larson's twice, we nailed both takes on him, and I was like, let's flip it and get 2 takes on Megan, and like we only really got 1 take on Megan because by the time the second take started, the sun had dipped and we couldn't use that take for continuity. But just the cast and crew were so on it that we were able to get all of those shots that we needed in the space of like 30, 40 minutes, which was absolutely insanely fast for us.
Yeah.
So that had to be during the production.
Gotcha. Very cool. I know the feeling because I've definitely did that. A couple scenes I acted in. I made sure that I nailed everything. Made it easy for Malcolm. I'm being a sarcastic smart aleck right now. because we definitely, I again, just knowing what we do, Andrew, multiple takes, and when you talk about that, and really, this is for the listeners. If you watch that scene, you will get sucked into that argument, and it to me, again, just the monotone character that Brandon is, and you can definitely tell there's a weight on him, like this dark cloud that just is constantly on him, and then he let all of that out in that in that argument, and something cool to capture. So, back to the most proud moment post premiere.
Yeah. Okay. So we were able to do a showing of the film in Denver for that's originally where I'm from, Denver, Colorado. And a lot of my friends and family were able to come and attend. It was like a private screening. We rented out one of the historic theaters in downtown Denver.
Nice.
And
Andrew, I got to stop you. We literally did the same thing in my hometown. It's like just everything's just kind of just matching up right now. So we're kind of all looking at each other. It's like, wow.
Heck yes.
So
it's like
ahead.
It's just such a great thing. When you show it to your friends and family, you got to just live in the moment, because that's going to be the kindest audience you will ever have when you're making your movie.
You ain't
because the minute you put it out to the real world, you'll get the real feedback, and then that's when the drinking starts. I mean,
no, you definitely got to have some thick skin, man. You definitely got to have thick skin in this game. I learned that the hard way.
Ask me about that. Bring that up in it as a question after I talk about this premiere thing, because I'll tell you about, like, I had to grow like several inches of skin for this, but I'll get into that after I say this. We were at the premiere, and one of my neighbors, a very good friend of ours, he was one of the investors for the movie, and he was the first person to write me a check for the film. And after the film premiered, he came up to me, and I was like, "What'd you think?" And he was like, "I really enjoyed it. I'm super excited to see where it goes." And I was like, "I'm looking forward, once this gets distribution, to like handing you your first check as an investor." And he was like, "Honestly, I'd say just roll it into the next one." And
Nice.
I was like, okay, I think we did something right if our investors liked it that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a huge moment for
with
me,
you.
and just a massive win.
Yeah,
Nice.
very cool.
And
Very cool. I can't wait. Maybe one day I'll get me a check.
Ours keeps saying the check's in the mail, bro.
You ain't getting no check, bro. Your residual check's in the mail. They got lost.
Yeah.
Hey, I do have a question, Andrew. You I'm taking it as professional as you seem and as professional as the movie seemed. How many shots did you pre-plan? Like you said that you wanted to set on that wide during that argument, so we had this disconnect, right? You had emotion behind your camera angles and your camera movement. How many didn't go as planned, and you had to set up a certain angle or shot just to leave something out that you couldn't show? Or does that make sense? That probably didn't make sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. For me, like, when I started school, one of my professors was like, "You got to make sure you get a shot list every time," and I absolutely hated that. I despised it with a burning passion. I was like, "I don't need to do this. I'll make it up on the day. It'll be fine." And after a couple times of doing that, I kind of started to really understand the beauty of that. But for me, with my shot lists, it is always flexible. So I'm going in trying to plan the day so that I can be as efficient as possible, and I don't have to try and think that up on the day. But there's almost always a situation where as we're going, all of a sudden myself or my DP is like, we should get it from this angle because this just looks so much better than what we had planned before. Or we're going and we're like, we covered it and that we don't need this extra shot. In which case my AD loves me for at least 5 minutes. But like it is always changing. So I always go in with my shot list with the expectation that something's going to go wrong, something's going to change. I'm going to have to cover it from another angle. Maybe my actor starts doing something with my hands and I'm like, we need to make sure we get an insert on that because like it's important to see that and to communicate the story going forward. So always up for flexibility and always up for change.
What percentage of your shots would you say are in line with your shot list?
Probably between 60 and 75%.
Nice.
I'm not, a lot of the times, so I have not reached the point of like going to the location beforehand and being like, we're going to set up here so that they can set up the lighting here. I'm not at that level at all. I'm still very much the kind of person that arrives on the set and then walks around and figures out how we're going to shoot it that day. So I'd say
60%. Well, I was gonna say I'm sorry to interrupt you, but before I lost my thought, I was gonna say that I was lucky enough that some of the locations that we had were like friends' properties, and because obviously it's a Bigfoot movie, a lot of it is outside. So I did get to go and pre-plan certain shots. But even with doing that, I found once I had the actors on set and they started developing their own little gestures of what they wanted to do, it did change a lot. I would say literally on the shot list that we had, we probably only have like 3 shots that actually came off the shot list. Everything else was like we had to adjust to everything to, down to because of the sun or the weather. So that's another thing that sucks about not paying for your stuff or for your locations is because now it's like, no, we're here. This is the only day they're going to let us use it. We got to make do. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if you had to run into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I completely understand. And to honestly reiterate your point, there's sometimes your actor they have an inspiration that you didn't think of with the character, and they're like, what if I move here and what if I do this? And it completely, all of your shots after that moment are totally, tossed in the trash. Right. But it just makes the film better. It makes the film better, and so you just got to go with it.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Good collaboration.
Yeah, man. Like when an actor comes up with their own little, down to just little things, man. I mean, for instance, in our film, the warden walks into the diner and there is these coffee news papers that are on the wall. Never crossed my mind that he should grab one, and just on a whim, he grabs one just as natural as can be as he walks in. And that little thing right there, I don't know why it got me so excited. I was like, that just made you walking in to something as simple as him walking into the diner, grabbing the coffee news off of the wall. To me, I don't know, it just blew my mind. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? What an idiot. And, so I know what you're saying. It just made it that much better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I completely get it.
How many of those moments did you have while filming?
There's some. I think there's some in every scene.
Awesome.
Or at least there's a couple. One in particular which did not actually make the final cut because the scene with Paul, the guy in the gas station, Hank. Yeah. After we did our test screenings of the film, the consensus after the first one was, I thought it was going to be a comedy because this scene with Hank and Brandon is so funny, and we were like, damn, we have to cut this scene down. So that scene is missing a good minute and a half, 2 minutes. But there's a moment where he says, the guy hasn't been out here for weeks. And then he's like, I should write that down. And so he randomly grabs a pen and just scribbles in front of Brandon. And on the day, Paul came up with it. He was like, what if I do this? I was like, that's absolutely hilarious. You need to do it. And we filmed it in every single take, and it just didn't make the final cut because it was too funny for the film.
Right. Understood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, Andrew, what's next for you and your production crew and your what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Help me out.
The Guild.
The Guild, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is kind of a bit of a revolving door right now where we've got several things kind of in motion. We're not sure what we're going to pull the trigger on next. So my producer, Rachel Workman, she has a feature that she's had written for a good 3 or 4 years called Live. And that follows a streamer who is kidnapped and forced to stream 24/7. While it's kind of like Misery meets, what's the movie? Crap. I'm not the person who wrote this one. But it's a thriller, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I've read the script. I'm so excited. But we're going to need to go a bit bigger on the budget on that one, so that one's going to take some time. I did just I finished post-production on a short, or I'm in the midst of finishing post-production on a short right now that's going to be more of a fantasy kind of like thriller, more character piece.
Nice.
And so that one will hopefully be hitting the festival circuit in the next 3 months. And my sister wrote that one. She's also a filmmaker, and the two of us want to make that into a feature-length film. And so she and I were just talking about it earlier today. She's gonna start writing it. But that one I'm super excited for. We did a screening of it for some different people, and they really responded well to that one. So we think it's going to do well in the festival circuit. So there's a couple different projects that we're just kind of working on right now. Not sure which one's going to be the first one we pull the trigger on, but we're trying to keep things going here.
Nice. I got a question for you. Something I noticed during the credits. It's right at the very end. You specifically put that this film was not, I think, touched or altered by AI. So for a filmmaker putting something like that, and I want to hear, I guess, just why. Like, what's your stance on it? Because I mean, I got a lot of things against AI, and I've seen it ruin a lot of movies. So I was just wanting your aspects on it.
Absolutely. So yeah, at the end of my film, I put that this film was made without the use of any generative AI. And I wanted to be very intentional about that. Earlier this year, Heretic came out, which was distributed by A24, but was not, to my knowledge, produced by them.
Yeah.
And the filmmakers also put that in their credits as well. And so when I heard that, I was like, you know what? I'm putting that in the end of mine because I'm very proud of the fact that we did not use any generative AI in the making of this movie.
No, definitely.
You put no AI use in the end of your movies. I put no catering at the end of mine, Andrew. Just to let you know, we're not the same.
I had to bring it up, man, because I'm watching what even I had a lot of buddies of mine that live in LA, daytime actors, stuff like that. And when they was on strike and they was protesting, and how it, they're losing their likeness and different things like that. It really struck a chord to me with everything that they did over there. And so when I seen you put that in there, I was like, all right, someone's standing up for this. So,
yeah. For me, I think there are uses for certain types of AI.
Yeah.
I do not see a use for generative AI, whether it be for images or for video. There's when we look at human civilization, you start out with hunter-gatherers, and then you go to civilization and so on and so forth. You can tell when a civilization has kind of reached its peak when they start making art and start trying to make things beautiful. Mm-hmm. And so I'm that is one of the things that I think all humans have creativity in them. We're all striving to make something. And why are we like taking that away from people?
Yes.
I despise the fact that someone is pumping out like an AI generated poster, and it's like you could have given someone a job and like paid them to make this poster for you. I'm sure there are people who would have done it for free for you because they just like the creative process and it's going to help them get their name out. That like I am vehemently against trying to use generative AI in film, in like pictures. It should be like, it can never match what a human being can do. And
Correct.
Since it can't reach that level, why are we putting time and effort into it? So I could go into, we could have an entire session just shitting on AI for like the full day, and I would not mind that, but fair enough, suffice to say.
No, we're good with that,
no.
right? So, at the end of the day, did we use any type of AI in ours? Like, I think
No.
So AI and After Effects is two different things.
correct.
Yeah.
So like muzzle flashes
Yeah,
isn't
completely.
considered AI because
Yeah.
somebody had to build that muzzle flash. They had to apply it.
Gotcha.
AI is where you're just putting something in a generator and it automatically does whatever. Yeah.
It's just like
And
go
and
ahead.
there's some differences. There's some differences where like, when you're in After Effects and you're like, oh, we've got to track the muzzle flash
Yeah.
Right.
to the barrel of the gun. Yeah, like the program's probably using some form of artificial intelligence
Right.
to like track those points. In my opinion, that's a different thing. You're like, you are using AI as a tool there, as opposed to, saying, oh, make this for me because I'm too lazy to do it myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's just
So-
like in a Netflix show. I can't remember the name of it. But they was in a school auditorium, and half that crowd was all AI generated, and it looked weird. And then upscaling Jaws 3 when it came out, I went out and got the 4K version of it, and I'm sitting there watching it, and it's a SeaWorld scene, and I was like, I know all these people were originally there, but now they look all smudged out, and it broke my heart because I was like, you're messing with my childhood.
Yeah.
So question for you, Andrew. It's kind of not in a weird way, right? But you showed us yours now, and we showed you ours, right? So I do want to just let you know, you talked about having thick skin.
Mm-hmm.
We've had to have thick skin too. We know exactly what you're talking about with that. But we want to let you know that we really, really welcome your feedback, and we're looking forward to it. And here's why: we've had the local community support, right? Then you said that there's no greater feeling than that. They're just, everybody loves the movie. The feedback, the most common compliment that we get is, it was way better than I expected. We just hear that all the time, and we just appreciate that so much. And we've also had people that absolutely have no ties to us, no ties to the film, no ties to anything at all, and walked away and said that movie was terrible. So, for us, we do laugh at that, because at the end of the day, we don't get our feelings hurt on what people think of our movie. And the reason being, you can have a blockbuster movie, and at the end of the movie, everybody walks out, and there's going to be people that come out of that movie and say, man, that movie was terrible, or that movie sucked, I didn't like the ending, or whatever it may be. So, we've learned to take it like a grain of salt if, there's, negative things said about us. But Brandon, or Andrew, we truly, we feel like you are on a whole nother level than us. We hope one day that we can do what you're doing out there in the independent film movie industry. We did this on a $0 budget, and you are a true, director that's been doing this. We truly, humbly, we're asking you, what was your thoughts on our movie?
Yeah, so first off, I want to apologize. I did not get through the whole thing, not because I didn't want to. I just have, you guys hit this movie hit me. Letting Go of Jack dropped at potentially the busiest 3 weeks of my life up to this point, and it has been a crazy show for the past couple weeks. but I've seen about the first 15 minutes of you guys' movie. And Charles Blum, who is my DP for my movie, is a Kentucky boy. And he tells me stories about Kentucky and, his neck of the woods all the time. And watching the first 15 minutes of your guys' movie, I was just thinking about my buddy Charlie and Larson, and I was like, this has got to be like exactly what their hometowns are like. And I really enjoyed it. I was like, I think it felt to me, at least the first 15 minutes, felt like a slice of life of what, because you guys are down in the south of the United States, yes?
Yeah, we're all the way in Florida.
Central Florida.
Yep.
Okay. I was like, this has got to be exactly what it's like to be down there. Like,
it was pretty
everyone's
close.
everyone's in camo. You got the trucks and the gators. Everyone's talking about gators. So I was really getting into the film, and then I just have not had time to finish it. I think you guys got some really pretty shots in there, and overall, I would say for a first film, I think you guys have some really cool stuff going. I really like the sheriff's character so far. He's really funny. Or the warden.
Yes.
Warden
Yes.
Sheriff. The warden.
Game warden.
Okay. And so I did see the moment where he pulls the little paper thing, and I was like, it feels so good. Like, I really liked him.
Nice.
I think what I would recommend is for your next one, like, play around with some more depth of field and like figuring out how to get your shots so that you're hitting more of like a close-up and feeling some of the depth behind the characters. I've learned that a colorist is worth their weight in gold, and so they can, like, for my films, they're never shot with all of the shots perfectly matched. But a colorist will like go and like match everything so it looks like it was shot exactly the same. And I think honestly for your guys's, it was very close already, but having someone to potentially put like a look over the whole thing can make it will definitely make it feel more like a movie than what you thought it was beforehand. And honestly, like, massive props to you guys. Your audio was really clean and I didn't have any issues with it. Nice. So that's what I would say is like my critiques of and like my praises for the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I appreciate that, man, because I started coloring that movie, and when I seen the dailies on it and I was like, uh-oh. And he was like, yeah, this is your job. And I'm like,
Yes.
bro, we got blowouts here. We got...
So I basically didn't even know how to like set any of the thing, and then I just gave it to Travis. I said, "Here, it's your problem now."
I had in that diner scene, they had no window blocking, so we had everything blasting through, and I was like, he's like, is there a way to fix that? And I was like, bro, you caught that in camera, son, and it ain't even on no metadata. I was like, all right. So it took me a while to get a lot of the glare out, and then to actually control the lighting that was inside that they was actually shooting. So, man, it was some work. I tell you what, he gave me some overtime, but.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, Andrew, okay, the first day of shoot, I didn't really even know how to turn the camera on, okay? So let's just get this. I got a new camera and didn't even know how to really work it, and just, hey, things went smoother than I thought. That's all I'm going to say.
Heck yeah.
Hey, we got it in the
out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what'd you guys shoot on?
So
for context, for full context, I am also a cinematographer. I shoot about twice as many things as I direct. So I'm behind the camera all the time, and so I'm totally down to nerd out about cameras with you guys.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I shot the majority of it on a GH5 Mark II.
Guess what I'm recording this video on right now. Guess what you're going to be getting footage from a GH5 Mark I, but I'm shooting on a GH5 right now.
Nice.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So that's what I shot most of the film with, and then later on in the towards the end. So here's the thing. So you saw the first 15 minutes. Okay. The opening part where the guy is getting interviewed on the back porch, which is Zach. Okay. That I shot at the very end, and that wasn't even part of the script. What happened was there was a lot of things that did not get filmed in the script, and I had to find a way to glue the pieces together. So I used his character, and that's when I kind of came up with the idea, well, we're going to Joe Dirt, Forrest Gump this thing, and somebody's going to be telling the story. So I used his character, but by that time, I had upgraded to a GH7. So I actually got to shoot that on a GH7 with the Atomos Plus, and I did a 2-camera angle, but the straight-on shot is the GH7. So altogether, I shot it on a GH5 for like 90% of it's the GH5 Mark II. Then some of it's on the GH7, like 1 or 2 shots is on a G7, and all the news stuff was shot on the Canon.
Oh yeah, my stuff.
Yeah,
so Canon 5D.
The Canon 5D.
Mm-hmm.
And the drones.
Did you have?
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. The drones.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and the drone was the DJI 3 Cinema Pro or whatever.
Nice. Did you have a? Sorry, you might have already mentioned it. Did you have a lens package you shot on?
So the majority of it on the GH5 Mark II was just a 25 millimeter Lumix, brother. Now,
dude, you know that the crazy. Okay, you can shoot an entire movie on one lens, and like if you're creative, like you guys did, and it will work, and that's all you need to do. It's incredible that
28 millimeter.
you
I
just got to get creative. You just got to get creative.
So here was my thing. I was like, I don't want to change. I don't want to be changing out lenses. I'll just move the camera back if I need a wider shot. So I just shot with a 25 millimeter for like 98% of it. And then, like I said, when I got my upgrade, I did get a cinema lens pack by Siri, and the flashback scene, which you haven't gotten to yet in the film, but there is a flashback scene that I did shoot with the 24 millimeter, but it was a cine lens. But that was the only thing I shot with that. Everything else was on that 25 millimeter Lumix, $125 lens.
Heck yes.
So
it gave you some really good footage. It gave you some really clean footage.
Yeah, it did. It did. And you could tell because the opening interview scene with him on the back porch, since I shot that last, you could tell I got a lot better at, not that it's perfect or anything, but I got a lot better at making sure the lighting was right. I think that was probably one of my biggest things was the interior shots with the lighting. I didn't have a lighting guy. I had a guy who said he was a lighting guy, but half the times didn't remember to bring his lights.
Yeah.
And then so by that time I started realizing how to get dramatic lighting. But most of the movie's outside, so I kind of got lucky there.
Hey, the Lord's lighting is great sometimes. So
amen, brother. Go. Amen.
Now, since we're talking about nerdy talk, that Ari, which was it, the Ari Mini or the Ari 35?
It was the Mini.
Mini. Nice.
The Alexa Mini.
That pulled an image, man.
Yeah.
Ari's one of my dream cameras. One of these days, bro.
So on the Nerd Talk, what did you use for sound? See, I'm more of the sound in the sound department than I am the video department. Travis just couldn't be on production because of his job, so I had to fill them shoes. But
I had to pay the bills, man.
What did y'all use as far as like the sound recorder and mics?
Yeah, we paid. That was like the person who, our sound recordist was very well paid, and she brought her own kit. So gotcha. I am not sure, because we rented that whole thing along with paying her for her work. But she had a boom. She always had like lavs for every single actor, so she was always really prepared. We had like 3 or 4 lines of audio going at any given time.
Sweet.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
On my short.
Yeah, that's what we did.
That's like if I could say like the two people who are worth, or I guess there's three people that I think are worth their weight in gold on any project, and it's your sound person, your colorist, and your composer, because between the three of them, they make up like the entire look and feel of your movie.
Yes.
And if you can get those three positions with like good people that you trust that are going to give you good stuff, it can cover a lot of mistakes that you made in production.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Our sound was pretty. There was a lot of times, man. I was just having whoever wasn't acting on scene holding the boom pole, and then I realized they need to do more push-ups. So there was a lot of times I was holding the boom and the camera at the same time.
He was like one-man band in this
I was
whole
like
thing.
a one-man band for the most part. But I did get some help here and there, but for the most part, it was like trying to figure out. I didn't have one dedicated sound guy. I didn't have a dedicated camera guy. You know, it was just kind of running and gunning in a sense, which did make post-production pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then you said you mentioned that you had a friend that made a song. I as well had a friend make a song, which is the main song of the movie that we used in a montage scene for their hiking scene, which I don't think you've probably gotten to yet. It's not. Yeah, that's not.
That's
the first
not. That's
15.
way past the first.
So that's pretty cool, man, to have original music. I thought that was like one of the coolest things about our film is the music is original.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think what's really cool, Andrew, is that you reached out to us.
Yeah.
You know, we started this podcast, you know, just promoting our movie, and you know, our goal is to continue to promote our movie. You know, we want people to purchase our movie. And you reached out to us and you asked to, you know, you wanted to, you know, share your movie with us.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, at the end of the day, we want to do the same thing that for you, right? At the end of the day, letting go of Jack. That's right, and we're gonna be, and listeners, again, do not forget you can purchase that on Amazon Prime. Go ahead,
And that's
Malcolm.
a fit. You can get physical copies, correct? You can get Blu-rays, DVDs.
Not yet. We're still figuring that out with our distributor. I'm hoping very, very soon. Right now it's just digital. So if you're not comfortable with that, it's rental or digital purchase right now.
Okay.
So
I think
hopefully
just about
physical in the
everybody's
next
got
couple
Amazon
months.
Prime anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to put out there, Andrew. You might have more professional stuff going on, but we got Blu-rays and DVDs, brother.
All right, you got me beat on this one.
We got one on you, okay? You got catering, we got Blu-rays, all right?
Andrew, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on our show.
Thanks, bro.
And
you're more than welcome to come on any other time.
Any other time you want to come back on and talk about anything, we definitely want to have you back on board. So.
Or you know, any people involved in the guild with your team, definitely talking about their projects, upcoming stuff, something that we could you know, throw out there to let your people know that, you know, you got more stuff coming down the pike, man. We'll definitely do that for you.
Yep.
I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you for having me. It's been so nice meeting you guys. You guys are a blast to hang out with. So
Nice.
I will definitely be back on the podcast with you guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Listeners, Andrew, letting go of Jack, Amazon Prime. Thank y'all. Travis, what'd you think of that?
What an interview, bro.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. What a good dude,
A
man.
lot of fun. Like we said, we you know, where this podcast is going, you know, to have a director reach out to us and say, hey, I want to come on and talk about the film, and, you know, share stories. I found it cool that we had so many different similarities.
Yeah.
You know, to the making of the movie, the struggles, the proud moments, you know, those aha moments, you know, again, him talking about the, you know, the touches that the cast members had, and Again, just talking about everything behind it. A lot of fun on that interview.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I can't wait to have him back on again, and cut it up, mix it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hopefully, we get some of his producers, maybe someone else from behind the guild and all that stuff. His production company, come on. We talk about all that, but no, I was excited, man.
Absolutely. What'd you think, Malcolm?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool getting the insights of everything that he kind of did and went through, and
From fundraising to
right. I
To
thought
think
it was,
of the money, like I just can't imagine what we would do with that kind of budget that he had.
it goes a lot faster than you think. I am telling you.
We're some poor old boys down here in Florida. Like, we can take $100,000 a lot further than guys can in LA.
so
Not that I'm cracking on him, but
well, no,
yes
but,
and
but,
no.
but he even said it.
Mhm.
I mean, he even said it. He's like, look, man, people where I'm at, they're expecting filmmakers to
Yeah.
pay.
yeah,
If we had $100,000, well, none of that's going to location if
Yeah.
we're shooting here because we didn't spend anything on our
Yeah.
locations.
Mhm.
None of that's going to the actors because we didn't spend nothing on actors.
just
Yeah.
could give us a little bit.
I would have got catering.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? But I feel like $100,000 for us. If we had $100,000 for the Big Hammock, I wouldn't have changed anything other than our post production.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
No, honestly, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have changed anything but our post production. What the sound? I mean, no, not knocking Jake or nothing, but obviously we only have so many tools at our at our hands,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I would have spent every dime of that 100,000 in post production, maybe a little bit during the production on, probably some of the props or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
But for the most part, it'd have been all post production, like he said. It'd have been on. I'd have took the heat off of Travis on the color, and I wouldn't have stuck him with such a hard job at such a small window,
Yeah.
right? I
Mhm.
mean, we could have really have substituted that out and made it their problem. Because now, when you're paying somebody,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, they're not just.
What-
Especially with me over Travis's shoulder. I mean, he could spend another year on trying to color it and making it as good as it
Oh,
can,
yeah.
but I'm over here like, nah, bro, it's good enough. Just go.
Yeah.
But when that's out of your hand, even the sound, I did the same thing to Jake,
Mhm.
but when it's out of your hands, you send it off, you're paying somebody. They're going to do their job, and, until you get what their final product is, you can't
Oh, yeah.
critique it and say it's good or it's not. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can definitely tell you, you're gonna spend some money in post production. Just for that time in Full Sail. That was almost like $13,000 just to do the re-recording, sound effects, let alone my composer. Like, I went through some stuff finding the right composer for the film and with doing Todd. So
Right.
I can say $100,000 sounds like a lot of money, but it really isn't. It's a drop in the bucket.
But it is. So here's the difference, though, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the type of movie we made for the Big Hammock,
Yeah.
we get away with a lot of the stuff that we got away with.
Oh yeah, you
To
would
where-
have got a lens package, different things like
Well,
that.
no, I'm saying as far as the type, like he said, bro, dude, even was like the feeling you get is like, I feel like this is what my boy from Kentucky
Yeah.
actually lived, right? So we get away with a lot more. I don't want to say low quality. It wasn't low quality, but lower production type stuff.
Oh yeah,
because
look,
of the
scenery.
The scenery, right?
Mhm.
So we get away with a lot more to where we could apply that $100,000 in a whole different. I'm telling you, it'll win.
Oh yeah,
I would have actually spent it on marketing and post production, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I would have spent most of that money on because I feel like what we did for the type of film that we made is enough.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it
Obviously,
does.
everything could be better, but I feel like, let me put it this way. If you spend it all on a cinematographer and all of these great things that makes it a blockbuster-looking movie, I don't think The Big Hammock would get that much credit.
it wasn't that type of story.
Right. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I don't think it would get that much credit. I think it would just be like,
Yeah.
I feel like it wouldn't have had that organic feel
Yeah.
that it has. Does that
Yeah,
make sense,
this-
Zach?
yes,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
The
saying?
story you guys were trying to tell, yeah, I think you told it the way it needed to be.
Right.
told.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it has that to where if Andrew would have shot his film the way we shot The Big Hammock, because he has beautiful cinematography.
Yes. Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
all these beautiful things. I feel like if he did the Big Hammock route, it wouldn't have been as effective. Not saying the story wasn't good, but it wouldn't have matched the story he was trying to tell because it was a more emotional, dramatic.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, even that big shot coming in the first time they went into the gas station, you know, that's right there on Route 66.
I mean, the dude had emotional reasoning for camera angles. I was shooting like, well, we can't show the tent back here, so we're just gonna cock it this way. That was the reason for my camera angles. You know what I'm saying? So it was a whole different.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's on a different level, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on a whole nother level than we are. But I think about a budget like $100,000, and I feel like I would have still did the hillbilly filming, and I would have spent more on the post production than.
It's still what you're putting up on that screen,
right? It's still what you're putting on the screen, right? So I loved it. I thought it was a good conversation. I can't wait to have him back on, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Get more in depth on first time directing, first time.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Whatever.
and
I mean,
whatever,
you know,
the
conversation could go so many different ways with him on the show.
And you can even go back to his YouTube channel, man. He's got his shorts on there.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got his shorts on there, and I want to say it's on the Guild channel too.
Okay.
So I took some time to, I didn't get to watch it all, but I did get to jump in and out of some stuff. So definitely like to see. I love to watch the progression and everything that he went through.
Yeah. Fun times and more to come.
Oh yeah,
more to come. So
I was talking with a publicist the other day, so we got another one knocking
more to
at the
come.
door.
So listeners, don't forget, subscribe to our channel, like, share, comment.
That was rough.
Purchase our Bigfoot movie at thebighammock.com. That's one word, thebighammock.com. Use the coupon code. Bigfoot is the word that you're putting in. Bigfoot. Use it at checkout, 15% discount. And don't forget, purchase Andrew's movie on Amazon, Letting Go of Jack. Thank y'all. Till next time.